Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Connect Now. I'm glad Aiden wasn't recording because what you would have heard is not appropriate, Monica Farias. No, welcome, guys, to another episode. We are excited to do another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. We had Options for Youth, a great school, a great, was it not an organization or a company? What was it?
Has it aired yet?
Yeah, so, you got to meet the principal and the vice principal, and now we are excited to talk about... This is what I go through, guys. I don't know if any of our discussions are really helping. Wow. So we have another good subject to talk about.
It's Monday. What can I say?
It's Monday. Monica did a lot of shopping this weekend. So
yes, he loads me up all weekend with all these texts. I tend to forget a lot of things because my mind, I come to the office, I'm ready to explode. Explode.
Apparently only one of us really likes to work, guys. But it's okay. We're going to do our thing.
If that's what you call working, annoying me all weekend, yeah.
Oh, my God. Are we going to fight right here? Literally fight on camera? My Jesus. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in last week. It was an amazing episode. Amazing episode. And, man, somebody has jokes today. But Options for Youth, it was great. We had a tour, and we got to learn a little bit more about what they do and how they benefit the community and a lot of people. They give a lot of opportunity to a lot of people. So it was a good episode.
Yeah. A lot of young people between the ages of, 12 and 24.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
If you're 24 years old, under 24, you can still go get your high school diploma. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. So Monica's going to go back, and she's going to go get, because she's 23 and a half.
I'm going to miss the deadline.
Yeah.
I feel very young. It's great.
I was just trying to give you a compliment. So
I'm on medication today, so I'm very mellow.
Oh.
I don't feel like fighting.
Good. I'm excited.
Having a great hair day.
She's having a great hair day. Let's talk about that, because you know what? It is funny when women will cut like an inch, right, off their hair, and they'll come in. It could be your mom. It could be your girlfriend, your wife, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you didn't notice?" And you're like, "Notice what?" I cut my hair. Well, where was it before? I cut an inch off of. Like you can't know. Like, how would I notice an inch off your hair?
By the way, it wasn't me, but yeah.
I'm just saying women do that in general.
Yeah.
My daughters do that. Everybody does that.
Yeah. No, I haven't cut it, but he'll notice because he noticed when I have flyaways, lots of little flyaways. He's like, "Fix your hair."
No, I don't. Man, you're in attack mode today. I'm always trying to be professional. I'm trying to be the professional one all the time.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, no, we did. We had a great show last week with Options for Youth. I can't wait for the grand opening coming up on September 25th.
That's right, September 25th.
Yeah, it'll be in the midst of everything else that we are doing. And what are we doing September 15th through October 15th is we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. And we're super excited about that because
I'm really excited.
Yeah, because we have a whole itinerary of events that are going to be going on, after the kickoff.
For 4 weeks.
Yeah, after the Plaza Westcovina, host their kickoff. It's going to be, a great event. So everybody stay tuned for all the details.
Well, let's give a little bit of details right now since we're on the subject.
Okay,
I'll get some details.
Yeah.
So the kickoff, we are gearing up right now for Hispanic Heritage. So lately you're going to see a lot of posts from us, introducing a lot of the artists and people that are going to be attending and videos about Hispanic. And we're going to be highlighting a lot of local businesses, local officials that are in a certain power, not seats.
Yeah,
seats. I should say seats.
So we'll be highlighting, dignitaries. I mean, just, the Hispanic community, not just from West Covina, because we have Hispanics representing us all over, the United States too, but we are going to focus in the San Gabriel Valley right now, and we are going to be, if you are a leader, if you are someone, and on a power position, if you are just, someone who owns a business, but you're successful and you're a hard worker
and you're proud, you're proud Hispanic.
We want to hear about, we want to hear from you. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going on a little journey of creating these little clips, of all these these people that are representing our heritage, not just, Mexican, but it's going to range
all
from
the Latinos, Hispanics, Chicanos, or whatever you identify as.
Yeah, Salvadorians. Just
everybody.
Yeah, we're super happy, that we're going to be doing that. And then it's going to, we're like JR said, the Plaza Westcovina would do their kickoff. And then we're going right into
I'm going to get the dates.
A series of interviews, music. We're going to be highlighting so many
stuff
great
for the
things.
Kids, the family members. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff.
It's going to be so fun.
So September 20th, the Plaza Westcovina kicks off Hispanic Heritage. Friday, September 20th from 5 to 9 p.m. We will be taking the stage at 7 p.m. and we have some surprises coming. So make sure you guys are there. And then Wednesday, we have 3 Wednesdays in a row, guys. Every Wednesday is different. So after that, we have 3 Wednesdays. September 25th. That'll be from 6 to 8. Then October 2nd. Then we end with October 9th. And those are all from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we have a lot of social media influencers, musicians, actors, actresses. They're lining up right now. Dancers, local dancers and stuff. Everything to highlight the Hispanic culture. So we're excited. So make sure if you want to be involved, you want to sponsor, you want to be recognized, call us today. Come by the office, email us. We want to acknowledge you guys. We want to acknowledge and celebrate with us. Celebrate with us this whole month.
It's a huge celebration. A lot of people think that, that everybody is, because it says Hispanic, they think it's a Mexican thing,
Right away, everyone thinks Mexican.
I think bringing, a lot of education behind that is going to be so key because as we've been hosting this will be our 3rd annual, right?
Yeah.
We've been learning a lot about what it really means because, to be honest with you, I thought the same way. I thought it was just like a Hispanic thing, a Mexican or whatever. Yeah. And it really, really isn't. It's just celebrating all cultures, from the Latin America. And it's so nice because at the end of the day, we all have our own what would you call traditions that we celebrate, and we don't want to lose that. We definitely don't want to lose that. So we're inviting, the whole community to come out and join us. We've already sent out some emails. We're sending out some more email blasts. We're seeking sponsorships because you know what? The more you get involved with this event, the more we can do. So we're we're asking, even if you want to get involved in a very small way, we're not going to turn you down. We
definitely
welcome everybody.
Yes, we're going to do giveaways. Well, it's going to be exciting. This whole month coming up is going to be exciting. And we're gonna do some recap videos of last year's, like you said, because we had a great turnout last year.
We did,
and it's been growing and growing, and this year it could even get bigger. But it takes a team. It takes a community, a village. It takes us all coming in together and really, getting behind this. It's not a GWC thing. It's not a Let's Connect Now thing. It's a Hispanic heritage.
Yes, and what's so cool? And I have to say this: no matter what anybody says or anybody thinks, we have a Hispanic mayor in West Covina.
Yes, we do.
Right? We have a Hispanic mayor in Azusa.
Yep.
We have a Hispanic mayor in Irwindale. Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing.
To bring all 3 of them together, and we're still yet to find out who else, is representing, as a Hispanic, whether, we just...
Well, we have Hispanic, Susan Rubio, Senator Susan Rubio.
We have our Senator Rubio. We have our Assemblywoman, Blanca Rubio. So we have a strong Latino leaders, and representation in the community. And not just that, what's really cool about all this is that, in the next few days, this week, we're actually going to be attending the Hispanic Chamber
of Commerce
in
Bakersfield,
not Baltimore.
Yeah, she's you better be okay. We're going to Baltimore. I'm like, you mean Bakersfield?
At first I said Vegas.
She's on Vegas. I'm on Vegas, and she's on Baltimore. I'm on Baltimore.
Well, since my husband's letting me get out for a few days, I wouldn't go to Vegas or Baltimore. I don't know. I wanted to make it exciting, but no, we're going to Bakersfield. It's going to be in Bakersfield. I think last year was at Indian Wells. I was only a neighbor back then, last summer, but this year we get to attend. Thanks so much to Bank of America for, the invitation for us to join them, and we're planning on making a lot of connections.
Yes,
right?
no, we're going there with a purpose.
Yeah.
We want to network. We want people
Learn.
to learn, network, and let people know the platform that we have to help local businesses right here in our area, to give you guys a platform to really come on here. So, but we have a great subject to talk about. No, not great. It's just it's not great.
I would say it's a very well. I don't know. I guess you guys be the judge of it.
You be the judge. Yeah, you're gonna have to be the judge of it.
A lot has happened this year, and I just feel like although every day we hear about people passing away, and I just feel that grief, grief, it's a subject that can be avoided. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to have, a discussion. I don't know how far we're going to take it, to be honest with you, because there's so much that goes with that. And the reason why I chose that subject, JR, is because, our last show, I made mention of my nephew. He passed away when he was 7. He got hit by a car, and I think I've heard in the last few days on the news how many people have been struck by a car
and hit and runs.
And it really breaks my heart, and it brings me back to, although his was not hit and run, it kind of takes me back, and I can only imagine the grief that we went through as a family, and just the fact that you do the right thing, because again, you said it perfectly. You said, sometimes it's just an accident, and there's no need to run away. I know it's scary, but it brought back a lot of feelings. And even my dad, I didn't even know that my dad had watched it, but he brought it up to my attention when he came over this weekend, and he felt sad, and then I kind of just walked away because I didn't want to talk about it, because I know my parents were a huge part of that. And so that's why I think, talking about grief is important, and because it's hard for me to talk to my parents about that, because they've experienced 2 grandchildren that have passed away very early in life. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that. And I know you also celebrated a anniversary for your brother, 4th year?
Yeah, 4 years.
And so we just, let's see how far this goes, but that's the topic that I chose to talk about today.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss about a little bit about grief, but you got to hear from our sponsors, guys.
Yes.
Because if we don't hear from our sponsors, then we can't.
Have a show.
We don't have a show, and then Aiden can't be here. And then Aiden's not here, then we don't have a show. So we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Massage Envy, with 2 locations here in West Covina and in Diamond Bar, by our friends from Prospectors Federal Credit Union, with also 2 locations, West Covina and Diamond Bar, by our friends from Suburban Water, our friends from Plaza West Covina, by our friends from Med Spa Deluxe LA. We couldn't be happier. Thank you. They also have 2 locations, one here in West Covina and their newest location in Rancho Cucamonga.
Also, we want to thank Black Widow Investigations. If you have a case that needs investigation on bike accident, lawsuit, call Black Widow Investigations. And also No Chance Foundation, a awesome nonprofit that we support here locally.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everyone, this is Danielle with Prospectors Federal Credit Union. Just checking in with you guys, see how everything is going. Also wanted to share we have some amazing summer CD promotions right now. You guys have worked hard for your money. Your money needs to work just as hard for you. So come check us out. Check out our website. We're at www.prospectorsfcu.org, or you can visit us on our Instagram at prospectorsfcu, or give us a call, 909-396-9688. You want to reach me directly, you can get me at my extension at 2240. Come see us. We want to go ahead and share all of our promotions. We have, especially with the CDs, we have a 5% APY for 5 months. We do have an 8-month at 4% APY, and we even have a 12-month at 4.5% APY. You want to know more? Come see me. See you guys soon. Bye.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you own a business, DM us if you want to come on our show. If you have product that you want us to talk about, if you're a brand new business, send us a DM. We would love to showcase you here in our show. We have a lot of things coming up in the next few months, so make sure you guys are looking at our promos on Instagram. And thank you so much for watching every Tuesday night on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, everybody, we are back, and like Monica said before the break, that we're going to discuss grief. It's a touchy subject. And I think it's a touchy subject too because if you're at work, majority of the time, not because of this, but I think we're talking about it because at work you spend most of your time with your coworkers. It might be 8 hours a day, so sometimes you see your coworkers more than you even see your family, because that's like your second family is your work. So when you go through something, they experience it sometimes on your behalf as well. They feel it just as much as a family member because they get to know you. But don't get me wrong, some of you at work might not like anybody at work, talk to anybody. But here at GWC, Monica and myself, even our spouses and all of us, we're very close. We've gotten close and stuff. So yes, I just not celebrate it, but we did a memorial because my brother passed away August 14th, 2020, and a tragic motorcycle accident. And so
at a very young age, right?
Yeah, so he was 4 years, so like 42, I think, 43 years old. 42 or 41, one of those. And it was a tragic thing. And I've shared this before that, the circle of life, you expect your, older people, and don't get me wrong, it'll hurt as much too if my mom passed away or and stuff. But, you expect the circle of life to happen. But all of a sudden, when you have a sibling or somebody that's, like really close to you, that you expect it to spend, get old together and do a lot of things together, just boom, gone. And you don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to have your last moments with them. It's a very tragic incident. It really for me, it affected me very, very much. It even took me a step back into my life. So before I hate to interrupt you, but no, go ahead.
But before we get into that, I just want to say that whatever we're going to talk about today, it's not that we're comparing stories or we're saying your story is we're not comparing stories. So what we're doing is we are sharing with you, part of some of our grief, some of the stuff that we both have gone through. And I have to agree with you, on what you just said earlier. You said, we expect our elders to pass away. Like our grandparents are supposed to go first, then our parents, and so on and so on. But, so we are going to touch. I want to touch on something personal about me, because I've had a lot of family members, pass away. But I think that before we go into that, I just wanna say that there's a lot of people that pass away in our families almost every year, right? Someone passes away,
or someone close to you.
But it doesn't hit us as hard as certain people. For you, your brother.
Yeah.
For myself, my daughter. And so parents are not supposed to lose children. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so to me, it's hard, when that happens. And so, there might be things that I'm uncomfortable saying. There might be things that you're uncomfortable saying. But sometimes, like you said, we spend a lot of time together. We hear different things from other people when they come. And sometimes, I have to say, sometimes I feel that when someone shares their, like a parent that passed away or an aunt or something, sometimes I feel bad a little bit, but sometimes I don't. I feel like my empathy goes away. Like I have no empathy, and I feel guilty sometimes because these people are sharing something with us that about an aunt or a grandparent or something, and we're like, okay, but that's because again we don't spend a lot of time with them. We probably didn't know that individual, and so sometimes I feel like it's unfair. But with you, it's different. So I'll go back to what you said earlier because we do spend a lot of time together. Sometimes I don't try to drag anything out of you. You don't try to drag anything out of me. I just see it. I just see it by your actions, by your post. I try not to post too much because to me, honestly, like I as much as every day is a reminder when I see a pregnant woman, when I see a little girl, when I see someone that's going to be, my daughter's age, it hits me, but I compress it. I try not to because I don't want to live my life like that. When I go into like right here, we have a little baby store and I see like little girls' clothes. And currently I'm shopping for some stuff because we're going to have, on my husband's side, a granddaughter. And honestly, like, you don't know, but I feel sad in my heart, because I still wonder, like, who has my daughter's clothes? Who has my daughter's crib? Who had all her stuff? Because they didn't leave me with anything. They took everything from me. And so for you, because we're good friends and everything, like, I feel your pain, but sometimes I don't want to touch on it because I don't want to make you sad. And I want to respect your privacy, right? But so it's really is a weird it's a really hard topic to talk about because if we both compare stories, I think we'd be on the floor crying of grief, right? Because it's very painful.
Yeah, no, it's like nobody's is like worse than the other person
no one's
and stuff.
Greater than
and they say you grieve as hard as you love the person, and and somebody, I felt that when I hear like other people, sometimes people that their whoever it might be, passed away, but then I've seen that maybe they've had time with that person before they passed away. I feel like they got to say what they wanted to say, and so they're still a little bit. The regret is less because when stuff still like I felt like when it happened so fast for me that the regret because that like a couple days, that's like a couple days later before I said to myself, man, I'm gonna call my brother because we like a week prior to that, we went on a vacation together, all of our family, just me and my brothers, and we brought our kids, and we had a big old thing. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call my brother, but I thought about it, but I didn't do it. So it's those regrets that's why when I look at people and they're spending that time and stuff with their family member.
But can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yeah.
I mean, when you say regret, how could you say that it's, and I'm saying that respectfully, how could you say it's regret if you didn't know?
Well, it's regret because I feel now that when somebody pops into my mind, like, and it happens to everybody. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought about you the other day. Well, why didn't you just text me? Oh, well, I just don't want to bother. No, if someone pops in your mind or something, I'm big on that now, just call them. Text them. Do something to acknowledge that they popped in your mind for a reason. So just act on it so that you don't have those regrets. I'm at a place in my life now that I'm even telling my children and my wife and those around me, like life's too short to even like be mad at somebody. Just let it go because you don't know.
But isn't it weird how some people don't care about that?
I think people care, but they don't think it's going to happen to them.
Exactly. And no, I don't think they care, because if they care, they would do something about it. Because remember, no, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I feel like, people, pop into my head, and sometimes, I don't call them or whatever. And there's a reason why. Well, but I don't know. I guess everybody's grief is different. For me, I mean, I don't know. I think I've talked about, my daughter, I only got to have her for 2 hours, and then, 9 months, and then 2 hours after. And for me, the regret that I have is anger. Anger, because they try to keep it from me. They medicated me instead of allowing me to have those feelings of, I don't know, like, scream, cry, whatever, anger, whatever those feelings were going to be, they kept it from me. They drugged me. In other words, they gave me medication so that I could be, and I was numb. And I wanted to feel everything that I'm supposed to feel when your child dies. I wanted to feel that because I felt her in my stomach for 9 months, and I never knew that there was anything wrong. So for my daughter to die suddenly, as a newborn, it's like, what happened, and I feel like I could have done something about it better than how everything kind of turned out after, because after I stopped taking the medication, I was angry. I was angry, especially because I had no say on anything that happened, and I was angry, and also something that is so bizarre out of everything in the world. My God, it happened on Christmas Eve, December 24th. Out of all the days that I felt like, I was angry at God, of course, but that God could have picked to take her from me, maybe as a miscarriage. I don't know. Maybe it's unfair for me to say that, but maybe as a miscarriage, I gave birth to a baby, healthy 7 pounds, something ounces, baby girl on Christmas Eve. So what is the message, behind that?
No, yeah. And that could happen a lot is those type of questions.
To me, that's
those type of
horrible,
questions.
because I blame, I was angry at God for a long, long time. And till this day, I never stopped wondering why on that day, out of all the days that it could have happened, and why that way.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't have no answers for that because
Nobody does.
Yeah, nobody does. Nobody can, those are, like I said, those are just questions that will always torment an individual because
they do torment me.
Because the individual wants answers, and sometimes like as I begin to talk about certain things that has happened, and as I talk to other people, that they've like my good friend who's lost 2 brothers, it's you begin to see that someone told me something that is perfect. Because I said, why did God take her? Why did God take my brother? And I have to remember that, he has his life too. And God has his plan for his life. God has the plan for my life. And it wasn't, yes, our lives are connected, but that was still the plan for his life. And they share with me that I have to begin to start seeing it like that. So God didn't take him away from me, and that was the plan for my life. It was his plan for his life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we all have our own life.
God knows what's going to happen to us
Yeah.
from the day we were born until the day we die. So I think.
Yeah. All right, let's get attached to people. Like for us, we work together now. We're doing things together now in business and stuff. So our lives are attached. Where before, if our lives weren't attached, this is still my plan. That's your life. That's your plan. But now that it's attached, if something was to happen to you, yes, it affects me, but that's still the plan that was set out for you.
Yeah, no, and I think that when in my situation, I just don't understand it. There's just so many questions, about that, and as much as I read, and I was belonging to some groups because I want a healing. At the end of the day, I'm the kind of person that looks for for healing, coping mechanisms, that are effective for every human being. They're going to be different. They're going to be different. For me, I hated pity. Because that's all I saw in my family. Pity. Everybody always wanted to know what was wrong, this and that. But there was never, all I ever wanted was just somebody to hear me, hear me and say, no, you're right. Like, how did that happen? Why this? I wanted somebody to talk to me about that. Instead, it was like, are you okay? When I had other kids, it was like, I don't know, like, I still wonder, like, why them and not her? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, why them and not her? Like, what did I do wrong? So I started blaming myself.
No, a lot of people, I see a lot of people do that. Like, the other people will have, like, 9 lives, and you're like, whoa, you took my brother, but this person keeps on having all this stuff, but they're living,
and that's how I.
And
thought,
why?
Yeah.
I'm trying to live a good life, but then that's where I understand yours is a little more difficult, because for me, I wasn't mad at God. I didn't go, why did you take my brother? Why did you take my brother? I didn't do that. I was more angry at my brother, because in my brother's circumstances, I can't say why did it happen. It happened because he was on a motorcycle. He hit debris in the road. He lost control. Why did it happen? That's why it happened. He lost control. And so for me, I was more angry at him. Like, bro, why did you ride? Why did you go ride? Like, so my why was different.
But he did that often.
No, yes, and yes, he did it often and stuff. But
he was a good writer too, I imagine.
No, he was a good writer, but that's where I started to get into places in my life where I'm like, well, if I hung out with him a little bit more, or because we're very close. We were very close, no matter what. We were very, very close. Me and my brother were very, very close. My brothers and stuff, but we were very, very close. We never fought. We never argued. Like, we argued with each other, but we never fist fought. Like other families, like, oh, I fought my brother. We were taught never to fight each other. You don't fight each other. You fight everybody else. This is your family. This is you guys. You 3 together, and stuff. So, I felt like and then growing up, he was always with me. I've done event management where I put on concerts, I put on events. He was always right there with me. I've done so nice. Everywhere anything I've done, he was always with me. But I felt this period in our lives, I didn't bring him with me.
Yeah.
But every other period in my life, he was always with me. And if I would have brought him with me, then maybe he would have been alive. That's where I was starting to struggle. Like, if I would have brought him more, because maybe I wasn't paying attention to him, and that's why he went in a direction to where now he's riding bikes, motorcycles, and then this happens.
You can't do that to yourself, though.
No, I know.
You can't. It's like me. I went in before I started therapy, and I started looking for ways to cope with my grief. Which I felt very alone. I really did. I felt 100% alone. One of the things that I always said, why do drug addict babies, live? And why did I say that? Because if you go to, downtown LA, and you go to, the county USC hospital, and you see the maternity place, you see a lot of abandoned babies, a lot of drug babies, a lot of babies with, disabilities, that the mothers don't want them. They don't even claim them. They just have them, and they're unclaimed babies. There's hundreds of them, right? Hundreds of them. And then, people are having babies in toilets, and they're leaving them there, and the babies die. Sometimes they live, right? And they're abandoned. People find them in freaking plastic bags, right? It's not just on movies. It really does happen that way. And I thought to myself, what did I ever do wrong? what did I ever do wrong? What did I ever do wrong? I never did drugs. I never drank. I never smoked. I didn't take any kind of pills, prescription, drugs, nothing. I did everything by the book, the way my doctor said I should do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it still happened. And I'm normal. And so how unfair is that? But yet God allows all these drug babies to live a horrible life sometimes, because they don't even get adopted half the time. So they're part of the system, right? Because nobody wants a drug baby. And the people that do, God bless their hearts when they do take these babies. And so to me, it was like, what are you trying to teach me with this? I would just plead to God, like, what are you trying to teach me with this? Like, what am I supposed to learn out of this?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea to this day.
Well, I mean, just as you're talking and sharing right now, I feel, what you went through. Yes, I mean, you'll know why one day, maybe when you're in heaven and God tells you, I can ask the Lord face to face to tell you. But right now,
but you know what brought peace to me? One day, and I was bawling during this movie. It was about that movie where that little boy. It was a Christian movie where the little boy actually went to heaven.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah.
And she had lost a baby, and he saw his sister in heaven.
Uh-huh.
And to this day, like, when I see that movie and that part of it, like, it brings, like, sadness to my heart, but happiness in a sense, because I feel that if, Lord willing, I go to heaven and I see my daughter, because right now I just picture her as a little baby, with red hair, and very light complected. I feel like she was going to be like a little carrot baby, and I think about that image that I have. I think I mentioned to you one day, I have a lot of Polaroid pictures of her, that they took pictures, and I only have, I think I've only seen them maybe once or twice, if that. They're stored away because I don't want to continue to have that image in my mind, but I do, because I had to see it, right? And I seen her. And I just thought about that little girl because she had red hair, and I just think, oh my God, one day that's gonna be me. So that brought peace to my heart, Although I still cry when I see that movie, because I just think there's hope, And so I hold on to that, and maybe that was an answer, from God to let me see that, so that I can picture that at something wonderful for me when I pass. I get to be with her, although she might not know that I'm her mom, but I'll get to feel her, like somehow. And I think you'll do the same, and
oh no, definitely, I'll be able to. I know, I'm just like, with the situation. I mean, don't get me wrong, when my brother did pass, I've learned that the 4 years I've learned that, okay, it's not God's fault. For me, it's my brother. He was doing what he loved. But he got in an accident. It's not God's fault. But because at first, yes, I didn't blame God, but I was angry,
of course,
at the world, at anything, where people were like, well, you got to ask God to, give you peace and this and that. But it was hard for me. Like, I even heard a song that says, how can I pray to God when he's the one that I'm hurt with? So it's like, it's hard to pray to somebody or to God when I'm actually angry or hurt right now with God. So it was hard.
I learned also through Christianity and our faith that it's okay to be angry at your Father.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's okay, because he knows already. He knows exactly what we are going to go through. He knows exactly how our life is going to turn. So, for anybody out there who has lost, a loved one, I don't know, as a mom, losing a child, like that. I mean, to me, it was probably the biggest tragedy of my life. For you, losing your brother, probably too, the biggest tragedy of your life.
Yeah.
And so learning, to cope with things. Some people don't want to move past it. They love crying. They love feeling that pain, and that's okay. If that is your learning mechanism, your grieving mechanism, it's okay. I've known people that never really move on with their life because they don't know how.
Right.
But it is so important coming from me, from someone who lost, a little girl, it's like, I thought I was going to be stuck with my anger. You know, every time I would see a pregnant lady, I couldn't stand them. I was almost wishing them bad things because I wanted someone to feel what I was feeling. That's how angry I became, you know. Every time someone says, oh, you want to go to a baby shower, don't ever freaking invite me to a baby shower because I would never be there to celebrate anything with you or whatever. I couldn't live my life like that. You know, because I have other children and it was not fair for them. So did I cry? Did I throw tantrums? Did I do it by myself? Yeah, because I needed to do that. You know,
Yeah, no,
I needed
for
to
sure.
do that. And now, you know, now looking back, you know, I get to do things that fill my heart with joy. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but for the past 3 years, you know, before I didn't care about Christmas Eve. Oh, Christmas Eve, what? Don't even talk to me about it. You know, I don't want to know. I don't celebrate that. You know, God's birth, you know, it was like, I just was like a horrible person. I think I became very angry. And I knew I couldn't do that for the sake of grandkids, for the sake of, you know, having 2 granddaughters, you know, for the sake of so many things. And I think my daughter, even my oldest daughter, you know, when she had Alina, my first granddaughter, I wasn't really close to her. You know, I was very like withdrawn from her, you know, until I think that was the time that I said, you know, because my daughter was suffering because of that, you know, and I thought, you know, I need to snap out of it and really embrace the gift that God is putting before me. And that's 2 beautiful granddaughters. You know, we're going to have another one, you know, the end of September. And although she's not my biological granddaughter, I'm still going to embrace her with all my heart
definitely.
and soul, you know, and love her.
But would you just say right now, too, because my brother died August 14th. His birthday is December 14th. So it was hard for us to celebrate Christmas, too.
Of course.
Because there was traditions that we did for Christmas. Me and my brother would give each other gag gifts on purpose. Like, who could give the worst? I'm talking worst. Where we had to ask my mom and everybody else to leave the room. So me, my wife, and my sister-in-law and us could open each other's gifts because we wanted to outdo each other and stuff. So my mom at first she was like, no Christmas this year. You know, we didn't really have any decorations up. She was very, you know, because it was like August 14th, September, you know, and then right into November, and then right there is his birthday, and now we're not celebrating his birthday, and then it's Christmas. So it was just like, I understand, like people, you know, but my mom, we still had a somewhat Christmas because we felt like we had to, and it was during COVID. So we were all on lockdown. So it was like forced. Like you couldn't go anywhere. It was 2020 of the prime of COVID where you couldn't go anywhere. So we were in the house, locked in.
But I think that's beautiful, you know, because you guys all got to be together, even though you said it was forced, but you guys got all to be together and be there for each other. And at least, you know, I'm not saying at least, but although you had your grief, your mom had her grief, but you were there for each other, you know, and then you had your family and although you were forced, but you were there and you guys were talking about it and you guys knew what everybody was feeling. You know, for me during Christmas, my parents shoved it under the rug. And I just thought that was so unfair for me because although it didn't happen during COVID or anything, this was years ago.
No, but it's Christmas Eve and they didn't know how you're going to feel. So
Exactly.
they kind of like everyone.
They still celebrated Christmas. They still celebrated Christmas.
Oh.
You know, no, they still celebrated Christmas. And nobody respected, like, nobody cared or disregarded, like, how I felt, you know?
I think, you know, well, they did, but
because they wanted to go back to being normal.
they wanted to like, okay, we know it happened, but let's try to get through this together and maybe make. But you were still grieving, so it made you mad.
Yeah.
Like you guys don't care.
And not just that, I mean, we had just had like a baby shower prior to that, and there was a lot of like Christmas clothes and, you know, like little things of Christmas for a baby that was going to be born on Christmas. during Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And there was this little pair of, I still remember these little pair of socks that had like a little Santa Claus on them that had like a little ruffle, and it came on a little box. And I really loved those. I don't know what it was about those little shoes that I wanted to keep, and they were gone. And I think those little shoes that I could probably had found somewhere else if somebody would have gone to go look for some, they were given away. And I was so angry, and I always think about those little shoes, those little socks.
Well, yeah. I think with your situation, I feel like they didn't give you the opportunity to, like you said, mourn and pack the things up, because then it's like you giving away. It was like you said, it was ripped from you, and you felt just worse because, like, dude, you guys just drive the knife.
My whole nursery was gone.
You drive the knife even deeper when you didn't even let me. Like, let me
choose. I knew it's gonna hurt to come home to that. I know it was. Like but let me deal with it by myself. Let me hold on to what I want to hold on to for the rest of my life. Because remember, I didn't give her away. She died. And that's what they didn't understand. So to me, it was like, all right, well, all that happened. So there was a lot of anger that I have built up. But again, let's talk about, my coping mechanisms, how I cope with that now. I decided by myself to one day, I went to Marshall's. This was 3 years ago. Okay. And I decided, I just happened to go buy the birthday stuff. And I saw these little blocks that said happy birthday. They were little, like, I don't know, they made like a little rattle sound or something. I bought them. And I put them in my car, and I wanted to celebrate her birthday that way. That was the first thing I ever bought. Then during Christmas, I bought an outfit and I put it on my tree, and my husband was okay with it. And then the year after that, I did the same thing. So now I'm collecting, and I have like 3 little outfits, and that I have, one of them is like a little beanie with some little booty things or whatever, and it makes me happy, brings joy to my heart. And they're in a box. I know one day I'll probably get all that and gift it to maybe, our next granddaughter or something. I don't know. Right now I'm holding on to that because that's how I want to remember her that way, and I want to honor her that way. By just having something that I know that mom picked for you and she's holding on to it. I don't know how long. I don't know if I will be able to give it away. I might not, but it's okay because it's something that I chose to do for her, and that's how I honor her, and then now, I'm open to Christmas. I welcome it more because it's not that it's going away. It's not. I just found my own ways of coping.
Yeah, you found certain things you could do to cope with it.
Yeah, and that made me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this year I didn't cry. To be honest with you, I don't think I cried. I think I just was grateful for the opportunity to be able to celebrate Christmas. And just because I know that it's with time, yes, things hurt a little bit less. I mean, if I start like right now, remembering all these things of what I used to do, it hurts. It kind of hurts. Right now, if I wasn't on the camera, I'd probably be bawling or whatever because I remember, and it triggers my mind, and it gives me anxiety because I know I remember exactly all my feelings. Like I remember exactly like my outrage towards so many different things, and so it just every individual copes with their own grief differently. I don't share this so that people could feel pity over me. No, I wanted to share this because we're two very strong individuals who are have dealt with and are dealing with our own grief and situation our way. Yeah. And however, people are dealing with their grief, it's okay, but just know that we have to move on. We have to move on. We have to enjoy everything around us because tomorrow in an hour and, in a minute and a second could be our last day. And how do we want to be remembered? Angry?
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to. I don't think move on. We have to just move forward.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't mean move on like, get over it. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah. I mean, we have to move on.
Move forward.
And enjoy. Yeah, move forward, move on. And then really enjoy everything that is before us, and still have those beautiful memories, whether they're, the bad ones, the good ones, and really just, continue to honor, the person that we
you
love
honor
so
the
much.
person that passed away. You honor them the way you want to honor them, and you move forward. And there's things that I've done to remember my brother. There's things I've done yearly, and there's still a couple of things that I don't do because it's hard for me, watching videos or people posting videos with his voice on and stuff. Like, I still can't do that. But there's, it's not getting easier. It's just getting easier to cope with because there's little things that trigger. And what I've learned that when you are going through that situation, you go through it. Don't hold it in. You go through it, and it will pass.
Oh, believe me, don't suppress your feelings because
you damage yourself internally.
Yeah, you do, and it builds up even more anger on me. It certainly did, and I just, for me, another, coping mechanism was really just talking about it deeply, with a therapist, and because it really did affect my life, in such a it changed my life, in other words, and I think that if you have that capability to be able to seek a therapist, not for answers, but just so that you could learn some coping mechanisms.
Because I did not a therapy session, because I can't say a therapy session because it was on when I was doing Jared and the Crew. I brought a therapist in, but he maybe signed something because he could lose his license because those sessions are private. So it was just like getting to know myself type thing. And he even said, he goes, I could tell you were trying so hard to not let me in. And then he asked one question and it just went boom. And I was like, ah, and he goes, and I was like, you got me. He goes, no, I wasn't trying to get you, but you were holding so bad. He goes, you were answering, but going like I prepared my answers because I kind of knew what he was going to ask, and I was trying to but then. And
that's funny because with therapy, people tend to do that. I did that too. Like, you tell your story, but you tell it different. You don't tell it as the actual.
That's what he said. He goes, I'm telling stories, but I'm leaving things out on purpose so that it doesn't affect me.
Yes, but at first I did that too. But when I really broke it down to every phase of it, as we continue to go through it, it was so painful. It was just probably, just so painful, but it got me through it. And that's why I am where I am today, because of that, because I seek that help, because it was like, sometimes you can't talk to like your husband or your best friend or your wife or whatever, or your spouse, whatever. But with a stranger, it's easier because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know my life. He just knows that at that moment, I'm a broken woman, with dealing with so much grief. And then he's able to pick me up and I'm able to walk out of there and feel like I could breathe, and because sometimes we can't tell we can't be 100% vulnerable with our partners. I don't know what it is about humans. I don't know if some of you are, that's great that you could do that, but some of us can't. I still compress a lot, because I don't know why. It's just the way I am, I guess. But with my therapist, I was able to do that. He could see right through me. He said, I know right now you're pretending something, because my hands would be like so uncomfortable. My body language was uncomfortable. And so he would break me. And I didn't like him. But after I would cry and like maybe throw a scream or two or whatever, because of the anger, it was like.
What's funny is that I made sure I was, because I'm if people know me, I'm a people watcher, and I will, when I talk to you, I watch your hands, and she knows it too. I will watch your hands, I'll watch your eyes when I'm speaking to you, because I want to know if you're involved, if you're engaging with me. So when he was talking to me, I made sure I wasn't fidgeting. I was just looking at him straight in my head. He just knew because I was skipping things.
But you were not smarter than there.
Yeah, because they get it all the time. But I wasn't like or anything. I was just like, no, the way it happened was, and he was just like, but you're not telling me everything. Why you keep skipping? And I'm like, what do you mean I'm skipping? Like, it was going. It was funny. It was fun. It was fun.
And you know too, like a therapist versus a pastor from a church, right? From a Christian church, right? I seek both. Okay, so therapy is going well. It's like this, and then I became a Christian, and I talked to a pastor about it. It was actually a pastor and his wife, both. And what's so funny is that they were just looking at me like, and trying to formulate the answer from a Christian perspective, and that's when I knew that it kind of made me more mad, because I wanted to find healing also as a Christian, and really just finding forgiveness from me to God. Although, I know that sounds weird, but I wanted to forgive him, and that's not the way it works, right? I can't forgive God for something that he created me. He knows.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, the thing with it, Monica, is at the end of the day, when something tragic like that happens, what I've learned is we want to blame somebody. And the first person that always gets blamed is God. And the reason why he gets blamed is why did he allow this to happen? That's the main thing. Everyone says, why did he allow this to happen? I said it. You said it. My mom, everybody in my family has said it. Why did he allow this to happen? And one thing that we all have to understand about God is that God has given us the freedom of choice, the freedom to live our lives. He doesn't come in and tell us and really dictate what we do. But yet we still need somebody or something to blame. So we blame God, because at the end of the day, he could have
Prevented it. Because like I said earlier, because some people live, some people don't. Some people drive freaking drunk, kill people, and they still get to live. And innocent people lose their lives. So yeah, the first thing we go to naturally is, why, God, why did you allow this to happen? Because it's not fair.
But we have to understand, God allows life to happen.
I guess, but sometimes they don't even pay the price, and that's what makes me even angrier. Because some of these women go on to have another baby and another one and another one, and it's like, how does that even happen? So what do I need to do? Do I need to turn this? Do I need to turn the blame on myself when I did nothing? Mm-hmm. All I did was follow. I took all my prenatal pills. So tell me, how unfair is that?
No, and that could be something for the day until you're up in heaven one day. But I'm just saying, as I cannot say anything, I'm not a therapist. I'm just saying that.
But that was my rebuttal
as Christians, yes, I would. If somebody came to me now, and what I've learned and experienced through my brother's passing is this: your person that you love so much passed away. That was the plan for their life, not for your life. You still have a plan for your life. Mm-hmm. What it is, I don't know. Only you and God know what the plan is for your life. And the only way you find out is by getting in the Word and by praying to Him. And you'll find out what the plan was for my brother's life. That was the plan, I guess.
Jared, and I want to share something with you. I don't know if I've ever told you this. Maybe I don't know if I've ever told anybody. But you know what's the most bizarre thing about what happened to my daughter was? The day of her baby shower, okay, my sister's best friend, who was a drug addict, she was walking with us. She told me, she's like, what would you do if your baby died?
Wow.
And I turned around and I looked at her and said, how dare you say that? Only a drug addict mind would say something like that. And she goes, oh, like whatever. Ironically, my daughter died. Mm. And that bugs me till this day. That bugs me. That scares me, and it scared me. It scared me. I don't remember that until I was in therapy. And it was bizarre. Even the therapist was like, what? Huh? And I was like, yeah. And I even told the pastor too, when I talked to him about that. I said, how did she feel that. I don't know. It's bizarre. And so I don't know. Moving forward.
No, and with your situation, I've always learned too is you could take a tragedy and make it into a triumph. That's my good friend's his slogan: taking a tragedy and make it into a triumph. And a triumph for you could be that there's other women that are going through your situation. There's other women that have it actually can't even have a baby. They get pregnant and then they lose it. And I've known women that find it where they don't even feel as a woman because they can't even have children. So there's so much that I believe with you've gone through and are still going through can help women, sharing your story, letting them know, and relating to them. Because anybody right now could, like if somebody came right now and said something like, man, I don't even know how it feels to lose a child. But they don't know that would happen to you, but you're able to now relate to other women because you can relate. Or no, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. When women come in and go, shh, you don't know how it feels to lose somebody, but now you're able to say, yes, I do. Because me, before, my good friend, he would post always about his brothers that passed away. And I would make these comments. Oh, my God, dude, there he goes again, posting again about his brother. Good dude, bro, just move forward, bro. Like, I would say those things.
How mean.
And then my brother passed. I apologized to him. And he didn't even know I was saying those things, but I had to apologize because it happened to me now. And now I want to post my brother all the time because I felt like if I don't post about my brother, his memory is leaving. So we don't know what the other person is going through, and sometimes those are their ways of coping. Those are their outlet. Right now, social media, so people are always posting about their loved ones and stuff. And even to this day now, what gets me angry and I'm trying to deal with it is people sharing that they knew my brother more than me. Mm-hmm. Oh, your brother was this, and he did this, and this, and this, and this, and man, and you're looking like, oh, okay. So I known him all his life, held him in my arms as a baby, and we have photos, but you know more about my brother than I do.
Maybe the bad things that he did.
No. Well, my brother type of person that people have to understand is that people have to remember this, is that with Instagram and all that stuff, you might have known the individual and stuff, but he let you know what he wanted you to know.
But that's okay. You know the truth.
No,
you don't need to fight with
but that's
him.
what I'm saying. That's the stuff that I'm dealing with. Yeah. And because it makes me angry, but I'm dealing with it and I have to let it release because, yes, they did know my brother, but they known him in the way that my brother wanted them to know him. Mm-hmm. But me and my brother, we had those conversations, those one-on-ones, those just me and him,
of course.
And just people trying to figure out, well, no, your brother would have done this. Oh, okay. Like, whatever makes you happy, then whatever makes you happy, man.
Yeah.
It's funny, but that's what I'm dealing with because you never.
No, but I can see where they come from because when about my dad, like people, because he's an icon, and people say, oh, did you know that your dad did this and your dad did this? Oh, you didn't know that about your dad? And I really didn't, and because they known my dad more one-on-one, about his job and his, his whole life as an artist, and so it's like, okay, some things could be truthful,
but it's more like, your brother would get mad at you because he would have done this to you, like, or that type of stuff. Like they're talking to me as they know what my brother would have done or said to me. Like, no, they don't, because they don't understand the relationship I have with my brother. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, me and my brother because we're brothers, so I know. I mean, my brother called me a Jew. he would say the reason why he would say it is because he says I was tight with money because he liked to spend. And then he'll be like, well, I'm asking you, bro, because you're a Jew. I know you have money. And I'm laughing because, like, yeah, I like to save, So he's calling me I'm tight, Aww. So, but people take that as, like, he would make fun of you. He's just, no, that's just our behavior. Yeah. That's just things. My sister-in-law told me that me and my brother, we would have, toppers. We'll play toppers when it came to vacation. he saw me going on vacation, so he wanted to take his family on vacation. And I'm like, and I would do it too. Like, oh yeah, man, you're going over here. All right, then I'm gonna go on this vacation. But it was our thing.
Yeah.
That we did. We even his wife told me. She told him, stop competing with your brother. He doesn't even know. But yeah, we know we're watching each other because that's just our
That's
thing.
so cute because he was like your little brother, what, 4
he
years
is my-
younger than you.
yeah.
And yet he wanted to do the things Big Brother was doing, you know, so that's kind of cute. I
Yeah,
think you
no,
should
so
hold on to
it's
that
all-
and
yeah.
see it as a positive.
Oh no, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I'm just saying a lot of things that people don't know that we done
Yeah.
is that's what I'm struggling with right now. And because there is the 5 stages of grieving. I recommend that you guys look those up, and you'll know what stage you're in and stuff, and you'll be able to start dealing with those stages and stuff. And that's the important part, is finding those type of books that help you in what stage you're in. And I don't think, there's ever a time where you're going to get at a place in your life where you're like, because people ask, is it going to get easier? If you love, you grieve as hard as you love. That's the only thing I say, and that's what people tell me. And honestly,
I don't think there's a timeline on things like that.
No,
I
there
think
isn't.
you're
It's
going
just
to-
straight.
Yeah, you're going to deal with it. However, you're going to deal with it. You're going to move forward.
told somebody the other day-
however you want to move forward.
I believe I'll stop dealing with it when I die.
Yeah, most likely.
And that's
I
it.
believe that I will stop grieving my daughter till the day I die too.
Yeah, and it is what it is. Like, it might get worse when we get older because now you're like, oh, he's supposed, and it's just memories.
And it's funny because I don't remember. I remember being at her funeral, but I don't remember anything after that. Again, I was on drugs. Not on drugs like street drugs, but like medication drugs. And for me to go back, because I've never gone to the burial site after that, because I'm scared to go back. I don't know when that's going to happen. I know I was there, but for my mother-in-law's funeral, and although I know where she's at, I was freaking out the day before, just knowing I was going to be there. And I think right now she's probably mad at me. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. She's mad at me because mommy didn't come to see me, I don't know. And one day I will go, but I just know that when I go there, I fear the kind of pain that I'm going to feel. I fear a lot of things about it, and I think this is a conversation I'm going to have with my therapist when I go see him again, because I don't know what that looks like, and he always tells me, well, what does that look like for you? I don't know. I envision the worst, and it could just be something very simple,
Yeah, it could be something very simple where you're
that I'm okay. Maybe I'm happy to be there.
maybe that's the closure you need, but
Yeah. And then someone, my therapist goes, what does it look like to you if one day you were to adopt a little girl? And I said, I never thought about that. I don't think it would make me feel better. I have 2 daughters. I don't know. I don't.
yeah, you're
think
like, I have 4 children. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I don't think one child can replace another.
Oh no.
It's like they can't. Every individual.
I think that would just
individual.
I think they're just trying to help you so that it brings a distraction.
Yeah, I think every individual person another person cannot replace that person when they pass away. They can't, just like no one can replace my father, no one can replace my mother, no one can replace your brother, my sister. They were, my daughter.
I have
what
deep
I mean?
secrets with my brother.
Yeah, it's
deep
like
memories that we've experienced together that nobody could ever,
Hey, he took it to the grave. I'm just making a joke.
he did. We take everything,
Sorry, I had to make.
No,
a joke.
but I mean, I just hope this show helps somebody, and at the end of the day, how you deal with it, and how you grieve. There's no right or wrong,
Yeah.
and that's what people have to understand, because people, in their eyes, when something happens, they expect, like, oh, look at them, they're not grieving like they're supposed to. Everybody grieves different. There's no
you
right
don't
or
know-
wrong
you
way
don't know what goes
to grieve.
what happens behind
Yes.
closed doors. Some people put up a front, but definitely, one of my recommendations would be to definitely seek help. I would not recommend, antidepressants or whatever, because sometimes they make you feel even worse. I remember even having, thoughts of killing myself, when I was when I thought about that, because I really, life shuts down. You don't see the other people that are behind you, your family, and it's horrible. So seeking help from the very beginning would definitely be, a thing. I don't think any money can, bring happiness or even replace that child. For me, it was that happened to me, and I made a very wise decision. And because no money could ever make me happy. Oh, go travel. Oh, go do this or whatever. I didn't, because the pain was still going to follow me. I carry it with me. It was going to be my luggage, So definitely seek help, or if you have family members that you could talk to and really like go deep into, and they accept you that way, you're lucky, I didn't have that, so, I chose not to, for that matter. It was my choice. But now, even talking about it right now, I think my anxiety is going down lower.
That's good.
Because you're talking about it, and it's a sense of relief sometimes to just express it to strangers,
Yeah.
And with all the respect in the world, however you deal with your grief, hey, as long as you're getting up every day and you're still functioning, I give you props, because that's what we're doing. We get up every day and we still function. We still do what we have to do. We still love people. But definitely, my recommendation to you would be for one day to really seek the help that you need for yourself, because we become better people at the end of the day when we learn to deal with things like this. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and give us some feedback. We're really doing our best to be vulnerable, doing our best to hopefully bring out some good topics and stuff, and really help you guys and stuff. And don't forget, every Tuesday, 6 p.m., Facebook, Facebook and YouTube, but we have Instagram and every other social media outlet. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys catch up on other episodes as well. And we will see you guys next Tuesday.
yes, definitely.